We have just come home from a whirlwind Walmart shopping trip. Here. Where we found out that Walmart diapers, these are 17 bucks for 92 diapers. We paid 40 bucks for like 40 pull-ups. So we may stay in the diaper stage for a while longer. Just for costs. And we're still using the pot in here. I'm not going to do a pan because though we did clean up yesterday and we're getting neater and neater and more in order, I will do the shelf. Like the shelf is getting more orderly. Everything's coming together, but it still looks like it's in that middle place. Crappy sandwich. So he was drumming. You had red eye going there, buddy.
Pee, pee.
Say hi. So we did some pretty good stuff. Had some pretty interesting stuff going on. It's a really good day. Got, you know, the enemy's at work. He's always at work. But at the place right now where I'm not even going to talk about it or name it. I'm excited. I'm doing a lot of prayer time. A lot of listening to Bible study. And just know that my Redeemer, that he's got us and he's doing stuff. We got a call today from one of the companies that we did contract moving with. We had U-Haul and a couple of others. One of them is a company that's owned by Budget Trucking, where we were supposed to be loading the trucks, driving the trucks for the customer, that kind of a thing. Well, before it didn't make enough money to even keep one or two men working enough time to keep them faithful. And they actually called and left a message this morning saying, hey, we understand this is what we did. We might like to work that out with you. We have a better rate plan for you. And I'm going to give them a call tomorrow and work on that. A few other things. Years ago, when we moved into my grandparents' house, when my daughter was, she was actually born in that, while we lived in that house. Some collections guy at SMUD, which is the local version of PG&E, the local power company, electrical company here in Sacramento, decided that someone had been stealing power, which they had before we moved in, but he was going to pin us with that, and he was going to make it into years. So suddenly, from like a little, $20, $40 electrical bill I had, like tens of thousands of dollars that supposedly I owed. Well, I contacted them and yesterday, and they're like, wow, we did do that. Wow, we never fixed that. Do you want us to take it off your bill now, or what do you want to do? I actually asked to talk to their board, and hopefully we'll get maybe a settlement out of it. Would be really nice. A settlement that put everything else paid for would be an incredible blessing right now. But fast, See what else is going on. I think I mentioned Truconnect, one of our cell phone companies. Suddenly they're allowing people to sign up online, which just was unheard of. Other companies have been doing it for like the last 5 years. Truconnect is suddenly doing it as of December the 11th. So we're getting that. He got to kind of hang out with a little kid in the store tonight. Got to work on his manners and his people stuff. Hey! So his toys are now in the box. So this box I got just as we moved here. And it's like 20 to 30 bucks at Walmart. A friend got them when they were on sale for like 16 bucks, and I missed that, but I went back and realized this thing can hold, it's like a 55-gallon storage locker on rollers with a handle. So it had been full of dog food. It was our dog's food storage until now. Now our dog food storage basically fits in an ice cream bucket. We're working on that right now. And so now this is returned to being a toy box. So he's digging out his toys and getting to it. You can open it. Here, open. Open the other side. Open the other side. Full of toys. Okay, that's one way of opening the lock. So, got that stuff together. Doing pretty good. Again, working on the toilet He's had his tent up for the last couple of days. Kind of giving him a cozy space inside the house to play, because he was losing that. Chairs out forward a little bit. Dog's still back there being fussy. He's been living on table scraps mostly more than prepared food. So we cook a pot of rice every 2 days or so, and then table scraps mixed with that. And he actually got the turkey carcass last night or chicken carcass last night with that. And tonight it'll probably be a turkey carcass. And he was thinning out a little bit. So we're putting weight back on, getting ready to get back outside. And he's like, hey, I want out of here now. I want to keep going. We're working on our downstays and just our voice commands a lot more. I pulled out the collar set. Probably going to put it in my pocket tomorrow, put it on him, and see how we go from there if we actually need it. Never had to use one before, and now that I know that it was someone else who was deliberately countermanding commands early on, that was getting him to be, just really not listening to me. Now we don't have that presence, so we can probably work through it without needing it. It'll just be about being constant. Joseph is being steady at his weight. I'm being steady at mine. We are going to start doing a lot less sugar. I actually got 2 pounds of chicharrones tonight from the Mexican store, and that's going to be our snack. Actually, you can probably see it up there. There's a blue bag up on top of the dishes on the counter. That's 2 pounds of chicharrones. That's going to be our snack food. We're going to bring this down. We're going to lose some gut here, us. Yeah, there we go. Magnification is good. Got your light in there. I've been told by someone that I should cut his hair again, but it's not tingling. I did forget to get a jar of grease, and we're going to do that pretty soon. So anyway, that's our check-in. Hope things are great. Ran into a lady who used to go to Calvary Christian Center, which is where I went to school and grew up, just a little while ago at the dollar store. And it's, I don't know, for me it's that sense of community. This is going to sound crazy, probably, or maybe you're with it. It's one of those things that's stuck in my mind. I don't know if you guys saw, there's a movie called Enemy Mine. And it was back in the early 90s, I think. And it was about this space war between the people from the Earth and this reptilian alien force. But the deal was the reptilians, they kept track of their genealogy. So when the reptile knew that it was going to die and that its child was going to be raised by the human, it spent a lot of time teaching the man his genealogy, so that when the time finally came for this child to stand in front of the assembly of its people and speak its genealogy, it actually added the man's name as one of its relatives. Kind of a side note, you'll see that in Luke and John and Matthew in the Bible. You'll actually see that there are people there who either are not actually the blood relative. Boaz was an example, I think, or with Naomi, or you will see people who, like Naomi herself, who was from a group that wasn't supposed to be part of Israel. When Joseph before he was born, I had this kind of daydream or imagination about coming back here and going to the assembly, the assembled group, the family church, and where I had grown up, and introducing him to those assemblies as himself, as a member of this community, as a child of this place, so that all the people in the family who have known who he is will know who he is. And in a way, you'll probably see that I do that with the links. If you were invited to this page, I probably invited you kind of in a weird way, and that was my thought. My mindset is, your family, I want him to know all of his family, and all of his family to know him. Got to do my shameless plug. Gonna throw some links on there. Please help. The Truconnect one really is awesome. There is a training involved, but it's absolutely free. You sign up, you become a Lifeline agent. It produces a link you put out. Every time somebody signs up for a phone, you get $0.25 a month forever. Is for the as long as they keep that phone going. You do a couple hundred phones, you get like $50. It really works out. It builds up. And again, it keeps going. As long as you keep adding people, you add a couple agents who do that, you get a couple of thousand a month continually. It has some pretty good residuals, and it's no cost. There he is. Sorry, slapping my gums. I'm looking at the elephant on the screen, and I don't know if you guys can see that. Let me change the lighting here. It's one of his favorite shows. JB Season 3, full episode. It's a Jungle Beast, so that's what he watches a lot of. I've been goal setting, so I ended up looking at the Breitling watch. Actually, it came up. I was watching a Kenneth Copeland this morning, and Kenneth Copeland mentioned that he had wanted a Breitling watch at one time. And I also did, but I wanted the one that's called the Breitling Emergency, which is, it's a $16,000 watch. But the way the watch was designed, and if you know who I was years ago, the kind of wild guy, it had what's called an EPIRB, an electronic positioning indicator beacon. So if your plane crashed or you ended up stranded in some crazy place, you unscrewed a cap and pulled out a wire, and it used to send a signal out to every aircraft and ship and everybody else in the world to say, hey, this is where I'm at. The new ones actually do that, and they're on the satellite frequency. The channels are called Guard. So it was the old Guard, which is not supposed to be... when they supposedly got rid of it, but I guess they brought it back. And then the new Guard, which was the old military Guard, is the satellite frequency. And this thing does both channels. So I'm saying that because there is the breakdown of a watch up there, and I was kind of goal setting and thinking and looking at watches, just saying, because I'm learning that these things are not worth more than me. There's a verse that I've really memorized. It says, "He who did not spare his son, but gave him up for us all freely, how will he not also give us all things?" So as I see that I'm praying for the stability of our house and our property and our vehicles and our businesses, I'm also thinking of how we will live. I don't want to live like a refugee anymore, and I realize that's what we've been doing here in a way, and I'm coming out of that refugee status. I'm accepting that this is mine, regardless of the conflicts and the things that are going on currently, whatever things need to be worked out, that my God has provided and set up for me to be here, for him to be here. This is his house, at least for the next year, and we're going through this, and then I believe that we're going to get better. But as we get better, it says that I wish, here's the example that comes to mind. As I get better, I also mentally and emotionally get better, mature. And there's a verse that describes that. It says, "I wish that you would be in health and prosper, even as I know your soul prospers." And that word prosper is succeeds or grows in the thing intended. So we're getting that. We're getting the prosperity of our soul, which is creating the prosperity of our life. And I'm excited about that. So again, links there. Pray for me about the moving company, about what to do. I don't want to lift very much anymore. And I'm not going to say medical reasons or any of the other stuff. Kind of tired of that. When I first started doing furniture, it was because of something my grandfather said in a conversation we had. My cousin used to lift weights in the house, and he had these weight racks and sets of weights on a bar that were like 500 pounds or more. And my grandfather kind of smirked at that, and he said, I want you to work for a living. I don't want you to lift weights. He said he will, develop this kind of muscle. You will develop this type. So I obeyed that, and I worked for a living, and I've worked hard. The one part I'm going to mention is that, like, every day when I wake up, my shoulders hurt bad. I feel like I've been beaten with a bat or something. And I'm working on stretching now, which I had never known before, and stuff like that to loosen it up. But I'm really ready for the smarter, not harder. I'm ready for gym every day, every morning. And I want to do that with my son, where we're walking and we're developing our bodies as decent people, but not because we have to for our labor. That's it. I've said a lot. I appreciate you all. Love you all very much. God bless you. Thank you for watching. Merry Christmas. Just please, again, agree when you pray for our increase. We want to see the checks from our businesses and things in the mail and in our accounts and all the little cards we have attached to everything just flowing. I want my son to have really good things. There's a little jeweler. Not sure if I should show that or not. They're part of a grocery store. And they're in they're in a lot of cities, a lot of counties, a lot of parts of the town. Lodi. I think there's 3 in Sacramento, 2 in Sacramento, Lodi. Stockton, Merced, whatever. And they give credit to just about anybody. They're guaranteed to have at least $300 worth of credit in there. I went into one of their stores last summer and got they just instantly, $3,000 worth of credit. And I was like, oh, great. And they're like, you're not going to get anything? And I was like, no, not right now. We're not going to get something that could be lost or that, can go that way. But I went in there today with the eye towards finding him a small, strong bracelet that he could have. That's his first piece of jewelry. What I had wanted and looked for when he was really little was a puka shell necklace. But he's strong, and I'm afraid he's going to break that. I'd like to get him even a brass or gold-plated or silver chain that has a good locking mechanism that he's not going to pull off, so that he has his. I want him to grow up with sport coats, and I want him to grow up with good things. Because that is the promise of our Father, that you will have good days and see good things. I'd say, see good days and have good things. I really long for that for my son. And yeah, I'd like to be a part of that. I'd like to have those things in my life. I think that I deserve it. I think that we all deserve it. In him, through him. Okay, so we're going to switch channels here, and we need to get to some eating. Hey, Joseph, up here. Joseph, can you say bye-bye?
Bye.
Look at the camera. Don't spit. Don't spit. So he's got all of his teeth, but he's been drooling recently. I don't quite get that one as so much. He likes to run around with his bottle in his mouth, like biting on the nipple, and I'm really cutting that out. Taking the bottle. When he's not drinking it, he don't get to hold it. All right, say bye-bye.
Bye.
Look! Look here! Look here! Yes! Yes! I said bye-bye.
Yes! Yes!
Say bye-bye.
Yes! Yes!
Wait. Say, wait. I got this. I got this. I got this. Say, I got this. Somehow, in childhood, both his mother and I were taught to say, I'm sorry. Just to constantly kind of be apologetic just for breathing. And he started doing that. He started we'd be doing something and he'd be sitting there and he'd just suddenly say, oh, I'm S-O-R-R-Y. And I don't want that for my son. I don't want him to just be apologetic for living. I want him to be genuinely, respondent when he's done something wrong and to face up to his faults. But I don't want him to just, automatically say it. So we're working on, I've got this. Say it. I got this. And I don't want it to be one of those things of bragging or anything like that. So within limits, God has him and he has this. Is what we're working on. Anyway, that's almost 20 minutes of our whole life. Oh, we did go to the store. We did actually put on clothes. Yes, we're back down to t-shirts and underwear. Well, he took off his t-shirt first. We do know how to wear clothes. We just, yeah. We're home. Look, I even have socks on. Well, that's it. Talk to y'all later. Bye-bye.